Here are 8 feminine products that you should stop using if you are interested in improving your health. Thank you for being here. My name is Jody. If this is your first time on this channel, I am a holistic health coach and a yoga teacher, and I share everything about health and wellness, yoga, nutrition, and gardening, and how to live a peaceful lifestyle on this channel. So thank you for being here. If you appreciate the content that I have in this video today, please press that like button. It lets me know that you are benefiting from the content that I share here. And please feel free to add any comments down below if you desire. If you haven't already, press that subscribe button as well too. It really helps me be able to continue to do this channel. So today I have 8 feminine products that I stopped using at least 7, if not over 10 years ago, and I am so glad that I did. And I did see a radical change in my health improvement when I stopped using these items. I will also have some additional items squeezed in here, so it's going to be more than 8. It'll probably be more like 15 or so items. But let's get started with the first one. I am also anticipating that it is going to be mainly ladies that are watching this video, so I will use the word ladies throughout the video, I am sure. However, if you are a male here and you are watching this video for a significant other or a friend or a mother or some lady in your life, I appreciate you being here and learning this information and passing it along to that female in your life that you care about. Okay, so number 1, this is going to be the biggest one. I'm going to start with the biggest one here that radically changed the way that I think about being a woman. So when I was young, I learned when I came into my womanhood and got my period for the first time that I was supposed to use either a tampon or a pad. And nowadays we have other options, and it is a much better option in my opinion. But first, let me talk about tampons and why it is you want to stop using these immediately. Guys, you just don't want to be putting these things into your body. So I have a list of notes here, so if you see me look down, it's just because I am referencing these, because some of the names of these chemicals and stuff are long and I need to reference my notes. So if you see me look down, that's why. So first off, the ingredients in tampons are not regulated by the FDA. So pretty much any company can put whatever they want into those things and not even declare or be transparent about what it is that they are putting into these tampons. So things like chemicals and pesticides and carcinogens are inside of these tampons that we are putting inside of our body. And not only is it going inside of our body, it is a very sensitive area that we are putting it in. It's very absorbent in a sense, so it touches that skin tissue, and whatever it is in there will most likely end up in our body, into our bloodstream. So we really want to pay close attention to any product that we are putting on our body, which I'll be getting into a little bit later too. So things like rayon, plastic, chlorine, and procmedian are inside of some of these tampons that we have. And I'm sure we all know when we go into a Target or CVS, we know the aisle, we see all the different boxes of all the different tampons and sizes and brands and all of the things. Really begin to take note. You don't even need to be going down that aisle anymore at all, and I will give you a product that will replace the tampon here in a second if you aren't already familiar. So not only does a tampon, it's going to increase our risk for bacterial infections. It will increase our risk for bacterial vaginosis and also for yeast infections. So if you are someone who experiences a lot of yeast infections, which, a little side note here, can be related to refined sugar consumption. But if you are someone who is experiencing a lot of yeast infections, maybe you know you have some bad bacteria down there, maybe your doctor's told you that you have a couple strains of unfriendly bacteria in your lady region, or there's pain down there, maybe it's red, maybe it's swollen, it's inflamed, begin to take a look at that. And I can't guarantee it, but I really do bet if you stop using the tampon, a lot of those issues, if not all of them, will go away. Also, something that I just learned the other day, which I did not realize, is that 70% of cotton that is grown nowadays is GMO cotton. So GMO cotton means that it has glyphosate in it, which aggravates me to a large degree, but we don't want to be consuming that, and we don't want to be putting that in our body or on our body in any way, shape, or form. These little tampons are white. They are bright white, which means that they have been bleached with titanium dioxide. This chemical is also banned in other countries, not here though, which is why they're still doing it. So we're pretty much putting a bleached item inside of our body. Okay, and then let's go into the environmental aspect of using tampons and pads as well too. It is on average that a single female will go through 12,000, is that right? 12,000 tampons in her lifetime, her menstrual cycle. So that's a lot. And that's a lot of money that we're spending on these items on a monthly basis. It's a lot of items that we are putting out into our trash, into the waste, into our water systems. And we don't need to be doing any of that. We don't need to be spending the money on the tampons every month or the pads every month. We don't need to be contributing that much waste into our society that is already has way too much waste. And our water systems don't need to be contaminated any more than they already are. So the alternative to tampons and pads is a menstrual cup. And if you haven't heard of these already, I have one here for you today. I'll show you. Don't worry, this is not the one that I use. Mine came in a 2-pack, so this is the second one that I don't actually use. So this is the menstrual cup. This is what it looks like. It's this like flexible silicone apparatus, and it's reusable. I bought this one, again, it was in a 2-pack. I bought this back in 2000 and I believe it's 2015, 2016. So what is that, 5 or 7 plus years ago now, and I'm still using the same ones. It came in the 2-pack and I haven't even needed to use the second one yet, so it's more of my backup one in emergency, but it's wonderful. I bought it once, it was cheap, and this will last me most likely the rest of my menstrual cycle days. Very easy to use, it's comfortable, it lasts longer than the other ones. The tampons, if I remember correctly, you have to check them every like 4 or 5 hours depending on, you know, your flow and all of that. This, put it in the morning, don't worry about it, don't even think about it the whole day. At nighttime, remove it, clean it out, put it back in, and you're good to go. And so way less waste. I bought it once, I don't have to continue to buy it, and it's not full of chemicals, which that's kind of the main part, right? Like, we don't want to be harming our body in any way. We don't want to be adding more toxic ingredients into our body, especially in our women region, right? Like, it's such a delicate region. We want to take care of it and make sure that it's healthy and it's thriving too. So menstrual cups, they're awesome. You can find them at pretty much any store nowadays. They are most likely right next to the tampons that you've been buying, and way more sanitary, way more comfortable, and it decreases our risk for any kind of bacterial infections and yeast infections and all the things. So that's number one. Stopped using tampons. I'm so freaking glad that I did. We just don't need to go through any of that, guys. We really, really don't. These things are a godsend. So that's the first one. All right, so number 2, I have a few things that are going to be in this little group called number 2 here. So makeup, any kind of facial cleanser, and acne products. So we don't need any of that. And my kind of number 1 rule when I'm thinking anything food related and anything that I'm going to be either ingesting or putting on my body is it as close to nature as possible? Is it man-made? Is it chemical? Is it synthetic? Because we want to be as close to nature as possible. And our skin is an organ. It's our largest organ in our body, if you didn't know. And it's porous. So anything that we are putting on top of our skin, anything that we are around, even just the air can go, can penetrate through. So, but especially if it is something that we are putting on top of our skin, and certainly in areas that are like more sensitive skin, especially like our lady regions, like I was just mentioning, that gets absorbed in through our skin into our blood system. So we're ingesting it in a sense as well too. So when we think about makeup and facial cleansers and acne products, oh man, guys, these are packed full of chemicals, packed full of artificial ingredients and products, and synthetic ingredients too. So really start to think about the items that you're putting on your skin, and would you eat it? Because if you wouldn't eat it, you might not want to be putting it on your skin. There are brands out there that are getting much better about really good, clean makeup products, so look for those. I don't know any brand names because I don't actually wear makeup anymore. And I do fully realize and understand there's a lot of women out here who are like, Jody, you're asking me to stop wearing makeup. Like, what are you talking about? I get it. When I was a little girl, I had tons of acne, and I wore makeup all the time. I did the eyeshadow, I did the mascara, and I really covered my face up. And it not only was it, the health decision for me, and then also trying to heal my acne, which it did help when I stopped putting makeup on. It did help with reducing my acne. Whenever we're putting anything on our skin is wanting to breathe, but if we're putting something on it, we're covering and clogging up our pores, which is going to increase any breakouts or blemishes or whatever it is that you've got going on. So I get it. You probably, if you're someone who's wearing makeup and I get it if you don't want to stop, but do realize that there are other things that you can do. You can find other brands that have a much cleaner ingredients. Switching up our diet can help with skin breakouts if that's what you're going through. It really helped for me. Cucumber juice is like wonderful for skin. Proper exercise is wonderful for skin too. And then even for me, that whole process it was about probably roughly 10 years ago that I decided I was going to try and start wearing a little bit less and less makeup every day and see if I could be comfortable with that and be okay with that. So it was also a journey of just feeling good in my own body and accepting where my body was, not being ashamed of where my body was, and that whole emotional inner process was part of it, and it led me to a place where I no longer feel like I need to put makeup on. So aside from all that, makeup and these acne products, facial cleansers, unless it's like a very nature-based, organic product, it's most likely full of chemicals, synthetic ingredients, artificial concoctions of things. It also is going to promote aging. So if that is something that you are wondering about, putting, our skin's wanting to breathe, it's wanting moisture, and if we're clogging our pores and weighing it down, and then if we're also doing that because we are not satisfied with what we normally look like without it, that's going to promote our aging process. Okay, so some of these chemicals and ingredients that are in these products cause cancer. They are cancer causing. They are also inhibiting our fertility. They are causing neurological problems, and they are causing an imbalance in our hormones. So if you are suffering from any of those, whether that be cancer, you might have it right now, or if you're wanting to make sure you don't get cancer, if you're having any neurological problems, fertility issues, or hormone issues, look at this area. Look at what's on your countertop or in your bathroom cabinet. Are you using these kind of products? It might be contributing to those things. So things like powders, eyeshadows, blushes, they are made with what's called a talc powder, and not good. this is what can cause mesothelioma. So again, look at the products that you might have in your bathroom, see what ingredients are in them if it's listed, and really opt for a more natural product, or see if you can get yourself to a place where you're comfortable without it. Okay, so this one's kind of similar to the other one and the just kind of description of it that I'm going to be saying here, but shaving creams and lotions. These are also full of all kinds of chemicals and artificial and synthetic stuff. Shaving creams in particular have phthalates. I think I'm saying that right. Phthalates, which mimic estrogen. This ingredient is going to disrupt our natural estrogen and testosterone levels. It increases the estrogen that we have in our body, whether you are male or female, and that excess estrogen can get accumulated inside of fat cells. And then these lotions too, they're full of toxic ingredients. Chemicals, artificial stuff, synthetic stuff, not stuff that we are wanting to be putting on our body, which will then in turn end up inside of our body as well. Okay, this next one, not necessarily like strictly a feminine product, but in that category is whitening strips. I've only used whitening strips a couple times in my life, and it was a long time ago, probably over 15 years ago. And I just remember that process for me, it was painful. It was I don't know what brand it was now, I won't say the brand, but it was the ones where you like bend, it's like this fabric-y stuff that you bend over your teeth, and it was painful. My gums hurt, it stung, it is nothing good about that process. Yes, maybe it made my teeth whiter, but at what cost, right? At what cost? So I didn't even bother to look up what ingredients are in these strips because I know they are not good, and many other people talk about why we should not be using these whitening strips. But in addition to this too, they damage our enamel and our dentin in our teeth, and we do not want that. Like, you want to be able to keep your enamel, in the layer underneath your enamel is the dentine, if I'm saying that correctly, as healthy as possible. That is like the skin to your tooth. Like if I didn't have skin on my arm, there'd be a problem. So you want to keep that as healthy as possible. You do not want to be damaging that. Find some other ways to whiten your teeth, and especially, all of the ingredients that are being used in these whitening strips, our gums are going to be absorbing that like that. So really think about what it is you are putting in and on your body. It is going into your system, and maybe you get those white teeth right away, but what is going to be the consequence of that later on? Okay, here's a fun one. So chemical hair straightening. I've never done this. I used to straighten my hair, not in the like chemical hair straightening way, which, hair straightening, blow drying, probably not the best for our hair anyway, but I'm talking about like the chemical hair straightening here. The ingredients, the products that they're using in order to get a person's hair that is like perfectly straight and to keep it straight for that long of time, it's linked to uterine cancer. So let's weigh out our odds. Do we want our hair do we want the convenience of having our hair being straight for a long period of time, which increases our risk for uterine cancer? That sounds like a fun process. Or are we okay with straight? If we're wanting our hair to be straight, can we do the other, straightening irons that we plug into the wall? So chemical hair straightening linked to uterine cancer. Some of the ingredients that are used in this are dimethion, limonium, methylparaben, panthenol, like as close to nature as possible. And honestly, I used to straighten my hair all the time. I have awesome curls in my hair when it's natural. Like, you probably do too. So we don't necessarily need to be straightening our hair. Like, yeah, okay, we can straighten our hair if we want to go have like a fun night out on the town or something. But just, again, weigh out the odds. Uterine cancer? Like, cancer alone is not what anybody wants. uterine cancer too for a woman. Like, I can't even imagine, don't even want to imagine. So think about that one. Okay, number 6. So if I haven't ruined your day already, hopefully this is just more of an informative thing where you can learn, like learn some things, make some changes, because there's so many other options that we have. It's just, habit change, something that we can make some changes, and it's going to improve not only our health, the people around us, and our environment as well too. So next one on the list is gels, mousses, and hairsprays. The ingredients that are used in these are completely detrimental for our environment, for one, as well too, but then they also, I know a lot of people, they will do like hairspray and then take like a curling iron or even their straightener too, and then go over their hair with the hairspray in it. Well, when that is heated, it emits formaldehyde, which we do not want to be surrounding ourselves with formaldehyde, and it's also an endocrine disruptor. So think about that. I used to do when I was young, I would get the gel kind of stuff and mousse kind of stuff, and I'd completely cover my hair with it and do like this scrunchy thing, and it made it look like my hair was wet all day with curls. And we don't need to do any of that. We just don't need to do any of that. Nowadays it's bare minimum for me. It really, the magic's in the simplicity. I wash my hair once a week. I use a very basic, just straight up soap. I like the almond oil one because it's a little bit more moisturizing for my hair, but I do that once a week, and I'll run a vinegar rinse through it after I soap it to make sure that any soap residue runs off. And then I let it dry. I'll run a wooden brush through it just gently if I need to, and we don't need any of those products. And I think it is a journey too of coming back to our own self and realizing that like we're beautiful as we are. We don't need all of the things to then make us beautiful. So we're beautiful as we are, and I think it's a journey of that too. Okay, number 7 is fragrances. So I'm talking this whole range of like perfumes that we put on ourselves, perfumes, colognes, air fresheners, also candles. All of these, it's synthetic artificial smells, synthetic artificial ingredients to create that smell, that fragrance. And I don't know about you, but as at least my experience has been when I started along this journey of cleaning up the food that I put in my body, as well as what I put in and on my body, any time that I came around any of these artificial fragrances, instant headache. Like my body is just like absolute no. The candles especially, and I don't, I'm not around the perfumes and colognes near as much, but when I'm walking by someone who has any kind of perfume or cologne, especially if it's a whole bunch, it's really irritating to the system. So they're full of artificial, chemical, synthetic ingredients. And again, that's just one more thing that we are potentially putting ourselves in the environment of, along with all of these other things, that is just like this toxic load for our body, which makes it so hard for our detox system, our liver, our kidneys, all of it to try and process out all of this toxic ingredients. I don't remember the exact number now, and it's been a few years, but when I was in school, it was something like 72 billion pounds of chemicals are brought into the United States on a yearly basis. Something like insane like that. And why are we using so much chemicals? We shouldn't be. It's not good for us. It's not good for the animals. It's not good for the planet. So fragrances, again, perfumes, colognes, candles, air fresheners, find the ones that it's a natural fragrance. Like And natural fragrances are so much better, you guys. Maybe they don't have the fancy little marketing name on them that makes us want to grab the, you know, Cold Fusion or like the Mountain Peaks or something, but natural fragrances, essential oils, you know, lavender, chamomile, basil, orange, lemon, beautiful scents. And they're not only do they not disrupt our body, they're soothing for our body too. They're actually beneficial for our body. So it's the opposite effect. A lot of candles, you can find candles nowadays that are fragranced with essential oils that are wonderful. I used to make them. I don't anymore, but you can find them and they are wonderful. So add that to the list of a few things that you can switch up as well too. Okay, number 8, next up on the list. And I do have some others after this that I'll touch on a little bit too, is deodorant or antiperspirant. So again, full of chemicals, full of ingredients that our body is going to absorb, especially this area where it's very porous and our body just absorbs it like that. Full of chemicals. Make sure you're finding a deodorant that that is a natural deodorant. Especially antiperspirant. If you don't know, an antiperspirant it actually stops your body from sweating, but sweating is how our body detoxes. So not only are we putting an item on our body that will need to be detoxed, but we're putting it on our body and then telling our body, I'm not going to allow you to detox it. So, yikes. Find natural products. The ingredients in these products are similar to the other one. It's that phthalates word, which is linked to things like dementia and Alzheimer's. We don't want that, and we know that we've seen an increase of those things over the last however many years, and this is a contributing factor. So to give you guys an example, no, this is not sponsored, it's just what I use. It's in the grocery store that I have. I like Buddha butter. Yes, you take your finger and do that, which really is not that big of a deal. But so you know it's got baking soda, and not in a way that it irritates. It's a good balance of all of the ingredients. Sometimes when they have too much baking soda, it can irritate your skin a little bit. And if you're switching over to a natural product, and this goes for anything, whether it be deodorant or lotion or shampoos, when you're switching over to a natural product, there will be a detoxing period where it might feel a little uncomfortable, or if it's a shampoo, your hair might be a little extra oily or extra dry or extra flaky. There is a detox period in between. So just know that when you're switching over to natural products. So this one, it's got baking soda, shea butter, tapioca flour, coconut oil, and cacao butter. And then on top of that, they're organic and fair trade. So booyah to this company. But find the natural products. Again, if we're putting it on our skin, it's going into our body. And if you're wanting to improve your health, go with the natural products. Okay, and then just a few other items that I'm going to mention here too, that you can consider looking into and finding a better version as well too, is hair dyes. Yikes. Anything that's on our scalp too, it really gets absorbed. So yeah, hair dyes, toothpastes, mouthwashes, nail polish, and nail polish removers. I'm not going to go into the detail on some of those, but I will link another video where he goes more into the detrimental effects of nail polish and nail removers, and why it's really important to look at that area as well too. All right, ladies, so that is my list for you today about feminine products that you can begin to switch over, the ones that you just don't want to be using anymore if you are at all interested in improving your health and having more of a healthy body for a longer period of time, even into your later years. So I hope you enjoyed, and I will see you in the next video.